Hey everybody, it's Dr. Ajwa here with her favorite scarf. So I don't know if you all are like me and have like a favorite garment, favorite piece of jewelry, but like I go through a phase where something is my favorite. I just say, hey, this is my favorite and I'm going to wear it with anything. I'm going to wear it with everything and I don't care what you have to say about it. So that's exactly how I feel about this scarf right now. So you guys are going to see it in a lot of different videos more than likely. It's going to be shaped in different ways. It's going to be forward today, might be backwards tomorrow, might be to the side the next day. Don't know. We'll see. But I want to talk today about veganism. There's a lot of hype in the media right now about plant-based diets and going vegan. And many of you all probably have watched What the Health. I haven't seen it. Not sure if I will watch it. I feel like I've done enough research about the topic, so pretty much aware of what they're going to be talking about in general. But I want to talk a little bit about my personal journey and why I chose to be vegan. So, Dr. Ajwa is actually a real doctor. So, my doctoral degree is in pharmaceutical sciences with emphasis in the practice of pharmacy. So, I spent a lot of years um, studying the human body, studying medications and drugs, studying herbs, and how they all affect the human body, what to put together, what not to put together. And so, honestly, they don't spend a lot of emphasis on the holistic side of medicine in school. They don't talk a whole lot about a plant-based diet, so the majority of what I know, I had to see from someone else's experience, through my own experience and through research. So years ago, when I was religious and attending church, there was a lady, and she was very, very ill. And matter of fact, that's how I ended up finding the church and connecting with her family, was because her husband was picking up all these medications for this lady. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is more than 10 medications. What's going on with this lady? So we started talking about Jesus, and they invited me to the church. And so I started attending. And this lady got so ill to the point of where she went to the hospital, and the physicians were like, hey, there's nothing else we can do for you. Um, Got a few options here: hospice, but you're probably not going to make it. So the husband says, just give me my wife, I'll take her home. So he started giving her herbs, put her on a plant-based diet, and years later, this lady is well. I mean, she still has some scars of the health issues she went through years ago, but she is well. She is alive. I saw this lady about to die, and suddenly she is just fine. And I'm sure the physicians are scratching their head like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what did you do? How did you spare her?" So at that time, I didn't make any changes to my life. I was a little curious, but I didn't make any changes yet. So fast forward, and I started going through spiritual awakening. And as I was going through the awakening, my ancestors started reaching back out for me as I was reaching for them. And I got very curious about Dr. Sebi. It's like, okay, he's talking about alkaline vegan diet and the man that's cured everything. So, me being a medicine woman, um, I'm curious. I want to know what's going on with this. So I started researching him and all the claims that he had healed people from diseases that we learned in school were incurable. So I still didn't make that much change. I cut out beef and pork for like a year. And sorry, and shellfish. So I ate like chicken and turkey, fish, duck occasionally. So basically, if it could fly or swim, had fins and could swim, I'd probably eat it. And I started noticing good changes in my body. It's like, okay, so I'm dropping some weight, feeling better, feeling a little bit more mental clarity. Like, I think I might be able to do this. Then I started going through an intense spiritual awakening. It was like a rapid ascension type thing. So my aura had changed, but my lifestyle choices, as far as what I'm putting in my mouth, had not changed yet. So then I was like, okay, where's all this negative energy coming from? Where's all this low vibrational energy coming from? So that's when my spiritual advisor at the time was like, hey, are you still eating meat? And I said, yeah. She's like, you need to stop. So I followed her advice and I actually cut meat out. And so when I was uh, basically vegan, I started noticing all types of changes in my life, good changes, able to think more clearly, able to ascend more easily without as many challenges. It's just like just spiritual knowledge just dropping into my lap, and I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm changing, I'm able to help others in a more significant way than I had been in years past. And I was like, there has to be something to this. So now I want to talk a little bit about what vegan is. So basically, vegan is you do not consume animal flesh. So dead carcass meat of an animal, there's some crazy people that like to eat the animals while they're alive. Like, yeah, your karma's coming back. You're torturing this animal. But being vegan is not eating any animal flesh. It is also not eating secretions of an animal. So dairy, so cheese, milk, all of that stuff you're not eating. So your diet is plant-based. You're eating fruits, you're eating vegetables, and you're eating grains. That's where you're getting your proteins from. That's where you're getting your carbohydrates from. That's where you're getting your fats from. Yes, there are fats that are natural. For example, like avocados. It's a very fatty fruit. I know some people might think it's a vegetable, but it's a very fatty fruit, and it's very good for you. So therefore, you don't have to eat animal flesh to get fat in your diet. A lot of people say, hey, where are you going to get your protein from? Protein. Oh, you're going to die because you're going to have like a malabsorption disorder because you didn't eat protein. There are plant sources of protein, okay? Chickpeas is like a great example of where you can get protein in your diet. Quinoa, lentils, the list goes on. Don't fall for that. Where are you going to get your protein? It's there, trust me. And I just noticed that there were so many positive changes in my life, and I was like, I'm not going back to eating meat. I can't do it. And for some of you all that may be called to be spiritual teachers, spiritual advisors, you may notice that your vibration is not in alignment with meat. And that's another thing that I'll be getting into shortly. But you may notice that suddenly, as the earth is shifting, as the energy on this planet is shifting, you might notice that you can't eat meat anymore. Some of the things that you used to be comfortable eating, and hey, we're at the club, we eating chicken wings, we getting drunk, we getting litty as fuck. And you can't do that anymore. And that's okay. So you have to move in the direction of where your spirit is calling you to, where your ancestors are calling you to, that sacred space that you're being called to. You have to be willing to move. You have to be willing to make any change necessary for your spiritual ascension. And that was one that I had to make for me. So I did a video previously about vibrations. So everything is energy. Even the foods that we eat are energy. So as I mentioned a few minutes ago in this video talking about, I went through a rapid ascension around the time that I officially let meat go. But everything that we eat carries energy that corresponds to a particular vibration. Yes, that word again, vibrations. How fast or slow something is moving. And just think about this for a second. If you are a cow and you feel emotions deeply, and your calf is being taken from you. First of all, you were raped. You were forced to be pregnant so that you could keep producing milk and cheese and yogurt and ice cream and frozen yogurt, all of that delicious stuff. So you were forced to be impregnated, and you have your calf and you love it because even though it was born out of bad circumstances, this is still bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. And as soon as you drop the calf, it's taken from you. You cry for days and weeks over your baby. And then the cycle continues. You're forced impregnated again. You're raped. And you drop your next baby. And they take it and they kill it. And then once you just collapse from exhaustion, just mental anguish, your body is chopped up and you're made into a T-bone steak, a juicy T-bone steak and hamburger. And it's almost like karma. You killed me, so now I'm going to kill you. So a lot of cases that you see with colon cancer is directly related to red meat consumption. Directly related to it. I can't tell you how many cases of colon cancer and all the chemotherapy that I've seen used in colon cancer. And I just sit there like, you know what? These people probably could have prevented colon cancer if they weren't eating red meat. And that is the truth. So back to the energy. So this cow has been in anguish, just absolute, just sadness and grief. And then you go to the local supermarket, Publix or Aldi, wherever, Whole Foods, Earth Fare, wherever you have, whatever grocery store you have locally, you go buy this steak. And I'm going to marinate it and I'm going to grill it with some onions and some peppers, and I'm going to put some Heinz 57 A1 sauce on there, and it's just going to be great with some twice baked potato. And as you're eating this steak, you're absorbing all of those emotions and feelings that that cow had at the moment it was slaughtered. All the fear, all the grief, all the sadness, all of those low vibrational emotions, all those low vibrational patterns of emotions in the cycle of that cow's life. You're absorbing that energy and it's becoming one with you. So then you wonder why. Why am I so paranoid? Why am I so fearful all the time? Why am I so suspicious of everybody? Probably related to what you're eating. Animals, as we see, like dogs, cats, chickens, cows, birds, they all have souls. So they inhale oxygen like us. They exhale carbon dioxide like us. So even though they're not of the human species, they're similar to us. Almost like distant brothers and sisters and cousins, whatever you want to call it. Whereas plants, although I feel that they may have a soul also in a different sense, there is a symbiotic relationship between humans and plants. So that means that while I'm inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, the tree is taking my waste product carbon dioxide, it's inhaling it, it's transmuting it to oxygen, and it's releasing the oxygen, and then I breathe. Then I exhale carbon dioxide and I give the plant life, and then the plant gives me life. So when I consume plants, I'm consuming that life force energy within that plant, that transmuting life force energy within that plant. So I know this may sound nasty, but then if I defecate on the ground and use that as a fertilizer, I can grow another plant. I can't grow another animal like that. We are too closely related. There is no symbiosis between humans and animals. So consuming an animal is not a symbiotic relationship. You are absorbing the energy of that animal, whatever it be. So I know some may want to do kosher meat. So if you don't want to be vegan, they may look at more of a humane way of slaughtering an animal. So just follow your spirit. Follow wherever you're being led to be at right now, because all of us are within different levels of growth and ascension, and your path may not be mine, my path may not be yours. So the most important thing is following your intuition and knowing when to let something go. That is very, very important. So if you feel like you're being called to be vegan, you're being called to be a vegetarian, or maybe you're being called to kind of transition into everything. Maybe you're an omnivore right now and you feel called, okay, so my next move is being a pescatarian. Okay, from pescatarian, maybe you go to be a vegetarian. After being a vegetarian, maybe you go to being a vegan. After being vegan, maybe you go to being a breatharian or something. There's no limits. So I'm not trying to force anyone to think like me or to be like me, but I just want everyone to tap into their own intuition. Follow what feels right for you. Okay? Well, that's Dr. Ashua on being vegan, and I hope this video resonates with some of you, or most of you, or all of you. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below. Hit subscribe and look for more videos to come. Take care.